Hi Texas Oboes, I'm Dr. Kathleen Carter Bell, Oboe professor at West Texas A&M University, and I'm really excited to help you prepare this year's 2026 to 2027 TMEA and ATSSB Etudes. I'm going to start off by talking a little bit about how to approach the Etude, and then afterwards I will play the whole thing for you. First of all, I want you to remember that the point of an etude is to master playing elements outside of an ensemble piece or another solo piece for your instrument. So as you are getting familiar with this etude, try to figure out what the composer wanted you to learn through playing it. If you can focus on that, you will be focusing on the right things as you dig into your practicing. Ferling number 13 is our lyrical etude this year. This is an interesting one. Lots of slow Ferling etudes are quite slow, but this one has a fair bit of motion and flow to it. As always, I start with deciding on the emotion that I'm aiming for by examining what the composer tells us with the title, the key, meter, etc. The title is Andante con gusto, which means to play this at a walking pace with style or with taste. It's not like we'd try to play anything without nuance, but the composer is really emphasizing that here. So we want to make sure that we are thinking about beauty of sound, controlling our note endings, making our breaths even musical, and to make sure that that all fits elegantly into our interpretation. The tempo marking we're given is dotted quarter equals 48 to 54 for TMEA and dotted quarter equals 54 to 60 for ATSSB. If you're ATSSB, you'll also stop playing after measure 3 on line 6, but it's a good idea to learn the whole etude anyway since it's only one more line to go at that point. The meter is 9/8, which is a compound meter, which means that instead of every big beat divided into 2, like we have in a usual 4/4 or 3/4 kind of a meter, here we have 3 little beats inside each big one. I love playing in 6/8 or 9/8 or 12/8 because it feels so circular. So as you're working on this, try to feel the swing, the big circle in each beat, and fill that space in order to get the right feeling. The key is D major, but with lots of chromatic notes later on. The chromatic notes are where a lot of the emotion is. So pick which ones you might emphasize, maybe linger on a little bit to add intensity. Include D major and any arpeggios that you see here in your regular warm-up to make them feel easy. Let's talk about breathing. It can be a challenge in any of these Ferling etudes. The good news is, if you can make a breath sound musical and intentional, you can make breathing almost anywhere work. To do that, you need to prepare the note before it. Don't clip it off. Control the sound so that it's not an explosion, but so that it's nuanced and supported. Pacing is also really important to help with your breaths. If you need to make time and make space for a bigger breath, consider how you're slowing down before the breath. If it's near a cadence point, slow down a bit more, and that can help buy you some time. In the ATSSB instructions, they, I think, correctly advise us to remove the breath that is in measure 20. Instead of taking the breath where they recommend, though, in bar 21, I'd consider waiting until measure 22, breaking that tie on the F sharp and breathing before the grace note. Again, though, you can make lots of things work. Think like a singer throughout this and all etudes and everything that you play. This will help you reach through the large intervals with your support and to keep the line going. Make sure that you're also employing good voicing. Voicing is when we imagine that we are placing notes on our instrument the same way we would do when we sing. Like when we sing a high note, it feels a lot different from when we sing a low one. On the oboe, we should always employ that same idea. It will help low notes speak more easily and help us place high notes in the right spot for pitch. Vibrato can be a great tool for adding or heightening the drama or keeping the end of a phrase alive. Practice floating on last notes with lovely vibrato and control. And the way to practice that is by doing long tones, in particular during your warm-up routines. Avoid clipping off last notes of phrases. That will take us out of that beautiful story that you are trying to tell through the music. Isolate the last beat of measure 5, the one that has the trill in it. Start by thinking in 3, and leaving out the trill and the grace notes. So only play the regular rhythm. Start on the E and stop on the high C sharp in the next bar. Once you can do that consistently with a metronome, add more layers to it. Adding the grace notes back in would be the next step, and do the same. Put your metronome on, making sure that you can be very precise, fitting those grace notes in. Then try only the trill. On the E, trilling to F sharp, and landing on the F sharp. Then do that plus the grace notes, still with a metronome. Once that is all consistent, then try the whole beat with all of the elements. This is the way to make sure you can fit all of that stuff that's going on that one beat into the music without compromising the rhythm. The 16th note section in this etude can be quite tricky, so isolate that section. Practice it in the rhythms, like the ones I'm putting up here for you to see. Once you do all of those and then return to the regular 16th note straight rhythm, it should feel easy. Ultimately, this section should flow, so if you have any technical hang-ups here, try to work them out. To help you get the right feeling for this etude, listen to some other pieces. Music like Liszt's Transcendental Etudes or similar works by Chopin. There's an effortlessness that pianists can get in 16th notes that we can definitely learn from here. Happy practicing!